All right. So I've been meaning to get better about filming these kind of videos, and it's because I'm not very comfortable yet with let the haters hate. And so I don't mean videos like this to be throwing anything in anybody's face or there for them to be a bash fest, but I just want to provide some honest insight and constructive criticism into my perspective on putting together a uh, DIY oil pan for a 2UZ swap and a first gen Forerunner. And we got these from Northwest Toys, and they came in the box made by Clark's Metalworks, who is Homeless Mechanic. So the Homeless Mechanic gave us this DIY kit, and so there was a couple of issues that I ran into. I thought I was ordering a fully welded kit, and then it came in as a DIY kit, and I dealt with that with the supplier, and he was totally cool with how he dealt with me on it. And I was already, when I opened the box, I looked at it and was like, and he said, yeah, that's what you're supposed to have. So I was like, okay, well, I'll put this thing together and see what's going on and see what I can do. My fear is that, and a lot of you fabricators are going to know that, like, heavy fabrication's fine, but when you do fluid devices, these have to be fluid tight. They got to be airtight, watertight, right? And I knew that, and that was my concern, is that you got to weld this thing, you know, all the way around here and up the seam this way, across. You got to weld up here, over here, across there, all the way across the back. There's a whole bunch of weld work that needs to be done in a DIY kit. You got to drill the dipstick and get it fitted to the right angle so you can use your dipstick and all that fun stuff, right? So I do this for a living. You know, I don't advertise heavy fabrication, but I do fabrication, and I build my own stuff. So, you know, this isn't too far outside of my wheelhouse, but as you can see, I was concerned about leakage. So price difference between this one and a fully welded kit, retail is $500. So this kit's $500. If you want it to come in as a fully kit, it's $1,000, right? I thought I got the full kit. He said that this was what I was supposed to get. That's fine. So then, because I'm charging the customer, here's the thought process, right? And you can also use this thought process if you're a DIY guy doing it for yourself. Like, how many hours am I going to put into putting this together? And how much struggle am I going to have putting this together versus the amount of money that I'm going to save in the overall grand scheme of things for what I'm doing. I'm doing a 2UZ swap on a first gen Forerunner. So this is just a small piece to the puzzle, right? And whether I'm charging the customer, whether you're doing it yourself, you can play this game. So how many hours I have? I punch on a time clock. I use what's called billable expenses. So I don't do like the collision centers and do flag time. Like a quarter panel swap book is 10 hours. And if I can do it in 4, I get paid for 10. No, if I work on it for 4 hours, I get paid for 4 hours, down to the minute. So when I got done with it, got it to this point, as you can see, it's a full oil pan. Cool. I got it all kind of halfway finished ground to where I felt like it's cool. And part of my concern is that I'm set up for sheet metal. So this multi-purpose welder, it'll do, I think, 3/16 single pass, 3/8 triple pass. But I got 023 wire in it for sheet metal. And so if you turn it up, you can burn. This was I think it was thinner than 1/8 inch. So I was on the fence of whether I was going to be comfortable and it was going to lay a good bead. Well, it did in a lot of places. And, you know, if it was rock sliders or armor or whatever, it would be totally fine. But the fear is, and what you guys know is that if you get one tiny little pinhole, that's where an oil leak is going to happen. And because I'm the fabricator and installer, I'm responsible for this. So it's got to be perfect. Not necessarily looking, but seal-wise, every little pinhole has to be perfect in it. And so I got it to close to this point and stopped and looked at the time clock, and I had, I think, 4.5 hours into getting to that point. Because the other part that you have to do with this kit is you have to build your pickup tube, which was probably, for me, the most disappointing part of the kit. And the reason is because regardless of doing a custom swap like we're doing, this is a standard 2UZ, and this is going to be a standard swap pan for putting that engine into this platform, which means that between this and this, nothing is going to change. Having that said, this portion of it, regardless of it being this portion of it right here, regardless of it being a DIY kit, there's no reason to make the person putting it together struggle with that if that's all going to be the same regardless of anything that you could possibly do when you order a swap kit. And you follow what I'm saying? The other reasoning is that I understand, you know, time efficiency and material on the supplier's end, right? But you could make one of those, and I can't imagine, like, unless you're the number one supplier of this swap pan, that you could do like 20 a month or something. Like, you just make a jig, and you're gonna have to order these because I had to cut that off of the original, which I'll come back to that in a second. But you could just make a jig for that and weld the pickup tube together so that it's just bolt on when it comes out of the box, and then have the rest of this stuff DIY to where you buzz all this stuff together. Because let me tell you, trying to get that right with this isn't that difficult, but it consumes a lot of time going from here to there to here to there to here to there, and that's what ended up eating up a lot of time. And then all said and done, when I got the pan done, I was off with the pickup tube left to right, like this way, by 1/4 of an inch. And with the pan fully built, you can't see in there to see where it's rubbing, and so you're pretty much guessing the whole time. Take it off, move some stuff, put it back on, take it off. Because of that, I finally got to a point yesterday where I just cut the tacks, because I had the pan tacked together. I cut the tacks off of the back plate, popped the back plate off so I could look in there with a flashlight and see. And then I finally found out, and this wasn't, you know, there's no instructions for any of this stuff, so I was doing it all on the fly, and I thought with as long of a run as what that tube is in the pan, I was worried about it, you know, having this action going on over time. And so I took the original mounts off of the original pickup and welded them onto this. The bottom of these were rubbing on the pan, and the side of this was rubbing, and so I ended up, after it was all done and pretty and sweet looking, I had to take and make relief cuts, and then I had to bend it more than I thought, so now my relief cuts are all huge, and so I'm not keen about having to deal with all that. And on top of it, we all know you don't use used pickup tubes. Like when you get a new oil pump, they come with a new pickup tube because of the screens. And this tube came in cut, and it's full of shavings all the way through it. And then I got to cut this off of the factory one and weld it onto this one and weld it to there. This is all supposed to be brand new and clean so that I don't get any of that stuff in the engine. And so now I got to make sure that's all clean when I'm all done. And okay, so going back to the pan, so now we're at the point where I'm like, okay, it looks good. I've got it fully welded and structural. It's ready to install and fits. Let's test it. So how I test for bubbles is I get soapy water, spray soapy water on it, and then blow air from the back of it. So I just put this up on the table and use an air blower, squirt the welds from this side and blow air from that side, and then watch for it to blow bubbles anywhere where there's a pinhole, okay? So I started doing that yesterday, and this thing blows bubbles everywhere. It's like a bubble machine. So, which means that like everywhere where my welds are nice and pretty like this, like it did a good job. But then any time it would spit and sputter, like this little ball right there, like it's not horrible, but it's got a pinhole in it, and it'll leak oil. And so it's such balled up material right there that for the fabricator to make that look right, I'm gonna have to grind that out and re-weld it. So with it blowing bubbles like a bubble machine all over the place, I'm gonna spend, after 4.5 hours to get to this point, I'm gonna spend another, you know, in my mind, 2 hours maybe, chasing pinholes, grinding them out, welding them, grind them down, bubble test it. And some of these areas, like the oil dipstick, like I couldn't even get the MIG welder back there good enough to get a good bead on it. And then when I did get a bead on it, it's one time and there's a pinhole back there. So I can't even get a grinder back there to grind that material out to lay a good bead on that oil dipstick. So that was the point in time yesterday where I dropped back 10 and punted. I recalled the supplier and was like, look, let's just stop where we're at. And what I told the customer, because I'm honest about things, and I told the supplier, I was like, look, let's just go back on what I said, that this is okay, and let's get me the fully welded unit, because a fully welded unit's only another $500. And if I'm into it 4.5 hours at 125 plus material, do the math on that. I was already almost $600 on getting to this point. So I, as the shop owner, decided for the customer that I'll go ahead and throw that labor in the garbage for the day yesterday, which means that my whole day's work yesterday goes in the garbage. We'll keep our pricing structure on his invoice, so that stays the same, and then I'll get the fully welded unit that I should have gotten because there was a discrepancy in the invoice, and they're going to take care of me on that. So in the long run of all of this, what it nets me is that, and what I'm letting you guys know, that if, you know, in my opinion, as a shop owner and as a builder swap guy, if you're a DIY, like you're doing this for yourself and you're putting your own 2UZ in for this thing, like I can totally understand. You would have the time and you wouldn't really be watching the clock kind of like I am, and the budgeting as tight as I am on the situation. But also at the same time, like you could go out and get your side hustle on for a Saturday, pay the extra $500, and then just not have to deal with any of these headaches. So the other thing that I noticed about this kit is that like this surface right here, this line on the inside, this is where I was actually rubbing on the tube, and I had to trim like more than 1/4 of an inch all the way off of here. So the program needs adjusted, because I know that the parts are laser cut, because they're really nice and smooth edged, and similar to like right here. Like see how there's that lip, you know, it's at this line, and then the program just doesn't have that little jot programmed into it to take that extra piece of material out of there. So it didn't present a problem on this side, and I'm not that worried about it. But on this side, where the tube drops, and also because I added the bracketry to hold that tube, I had a lot of issue here, and I couldn't even tell until I popped that back plate off that oil pan and could look, you know, look this direction into that oil pan and see what was going on. So that's the situation I ended up with yesterday on the oil pan. And so I told you guys a long time ago that I would try to share all my headaches and stuff like that with you, and I've not been very good about sharing these scenarios with you for fear of judgment on the client or judgment on the community or whatever, and trying to let the haters hate. So you call me what you want to call me. So where we're at now is I had them reorder a fully welded kit that will also come in with the dipstick done, the bung done, the drain done. It comes with the the tube that's ready to bolt on, the oil pickup tube, and also the dipstick, so that I don't have to do modifications to the factory dipstick. So it's going to be a much nicer unit in the long run. I, as the installer, can point my finger at somebody else if it leaks oil and not have to stress out about that, whether that's my fault or not, or whether I did a good enough job. I can just blame somebody else, call it what you want to call it. And then having that all set, I can just pull it out of the box, install it, seal it up, and we should be ready to go. I have this one that I can use for mock-up for now, but what it nets me is that I got a couple of week wait period before I can finalize and button this up, which is okay again, because I have this one for mock-up, which will let me go ahead and start on shifters and linkages and engine mounts and headers and power steering and that sort of stuff. So all good in the hood. Just got to shift gears a little bit and go a different direction with the oil pan. So anyway, figured I'd share that episode from yesterday. Hope you guys like. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you're feeling about this 2UZ swap. I heard a couple of people telling me they didn't think I was going to pull it off, and then I got the client telling me that I got a whole bunch of new followers that are hiding in the shadows. So make sure you drop me a comment, hit that like button, let me know you're here, because unless you do, I don't know who's here and who's not here. I appreciate you guys. We'll talk at you soon. 2UZ swap is go. Y'all take care.